Good morning, everyone. Got your coffee? I got mine. So listen, I don't have a lot today. But I do want to start an important conversation, and I want people to think on it just a little bit because it's a conversation that we Black people need to have amongst ourselves in the Black community. But before I get started, I want to say thank you so much to Iateo. Thank you so much for being so supportive. I appreciate you and your consistency. And thank you to Stephanie. I appreciate you. And I just want to say thank you again to Edward Jones. Thank you. I always feel a way when a man supports this platform because I do have some male supporters because I don't want to, not give them their due because I do have some male supporters, but not many. And because of that, whenever a man supports this platform, especially considering some of the harder things that I can say, I appreciate it. And it tends to be the most emotionally intelligent out of all of you all, out of men. And I appreciate that. I value that. I really do. So thank you so much. Cold day here in Columbia, South Carolina. If you are in zone AA or AB, now is a great time for you to prune your outside plants. Flowering bushes, you definitely want to cut those back. I have rose bushes all over the property. Now is a good time for me to get out there, and I'm going to do that. We were going to do it today, but it's going to rain today. So we're going to do it Wednesday. Now is a good time to cut all those back because you'll get more blooms and more cycles. Like I get a spring cycle, I get a summer cycle, and then I even get a fall cycle on my rose bushes. I have hydrangeas in my back. Hydrangeas you definitely want to cut back because they'll give you more blooms. And not only that, but hydrangeas are very susceptible to fungus. And so you definitely want to make sure that you're cutting those back. I also have yuccas, both potted and both in the ground around the property. You want to cut those dead leaves back so that they're prettier and fuller in the summer months. So just a little tip, gardening tip. Now, with all that said, I really do want to talk about Black people and the crabs in the barrel mentality and how we got to stop that. We have to stop that because it's so harmful to our community. And I understand the mentality behind it. White supremacy has us not rooting for each other. And not only that, but white supremacy also, when we clamor for seats at their table instead of building seats, our own tables and our own chairs, we're only going to be served up crumbs. And while we're, the few of us that catch those crumbs, that manage to become successful, the rest of us who are fighting for some crumbs are going to resent those people. I'll give you a great example of that. Do you know who Keith Lee is? I've been following Keith Lee for years. I've been following him from the beginning. And I remember when he was in his little apartment, that little crammed apartment, in his daughter's Paw Patrol chair, trying to get over social anxiety. And I think that was the thing that got my interest because I have social anxiety. I suffer from it. And I can get it so bad. Sometimes I'll have panic attacks when in social situations. And I think that that's what drew me to him initially. Plus, he's talking about great food, and he ended up being this. I mean, the massive success followed him as a result of this man just trying to get over social anxiety. So you just never know. And this is someone who he can change. He has enough power now to turn whole businesses around. And he's gone from that apartment to this beautiful home. He's bought a couple of homes. He's able to indulge in some things that he wasn't able to indulge in before, provide his family, his wife, his beautiful wife, and his children with this lifestyle that otherwise he wouldn't have been able to do had it not been for him sitting in that little chair trying to get over his social anxiety. And as his star rose, I said to myself, I wonder how long it's going to be before Black people start tearing this man down. And I hate that was my reaction, and that was my intrusive thought, but I wasn't wrong, and I wasn't wrong. Black people started seeing him be blessed. Not like he wasn't blessing other people, because he is and he does. But Black people, when you bless other people, by the way, you make room for more blessings, more real blessings. You do. And that's just a fact. And that's why I'm always so willing to share with the right people, people who deserve it, people who are having a hard time, people who are struggling in the moment. When we share resources, it just leaves room for new blessings to come find us. Amen. Amen. But I watched other Black people who couldn't recreate his formula for success, or try to copy it, not be as successful, or who were doing the same content that he does, not being as successful, or Black people who were just simply broke and resented his success. The fact that he could just do it. I can't tell you, when I used to work at Chrysler, how many people I would just try to help, especially like girlfriends, and then only to be talked about behind my back, only to have knives put in my back when I was just trying to help, and I would be resented because I was in a position to be able to help. You have that too in our community, and it's very harmful, because what we should never be doing is trying to put limitations on the success of other Black people. We should always, as Black people, as a people, want to see Black people fly as high as they can possibly go. We should want to see Black people fly like a phoenix. We should want the most success for other Black people. And I'm going to tell you, dig down deep, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. I dare you to sit in the moment and think about those times that you were jealous of other people, envious of other Black people, and you tried to sabotage them because of what you were feeling inside, because of your own personal insecurities. When Issa Rae said, "I'm rooting for everybody Black," that made me feel uncomfortable. And I don't know why it did, but I know enough, because I've been in therapy long enough to sit with it, and understand why it was I felt that way. For her to say that in a room full of people that didn't necessarily look like her, and to be that unapologetically Black in that moment, to a non-Black reporter. She was a person of color, but she wasn't Black. And Issa just said, she said, "Who am I rooting for? Who are you rooting for this evening, Issa?" "I'm rooting for everybody Black." And I thought I had work to do on myself. I had to get myself there to a point where I'm rooting for everybody Black. But I ain't feeling no way about it. I'm unapologetic about it. Pay attention who don't clap when you win. And get rid of them. You need new people, by the way. But we should always be rooting for each other. No matter what. I hope Beyonce get richer. I hope everybody that is struggling and trying to make a way out of no way, find their way. I hope that everybody who is trying to build something for themselves and is Black, finally build it. Finally get there. Finally see the fruits of their labor. Bloom in Blackness. It was disappointing how many Black people took the position when Taraji Henson said that we are not being paid enough. She was not being paid her worth. It was so disappointing to see how many Black people say, "But she rich." It was a way of saying you got enough. Meanwhile, white actors and actresses didn't have the resume that this sister had. and they were a lot richer. And black people weren't understanding that. Why shouldn't she be paid her worth? Why shouldn't all of us be paid our worth? Whether you're a singer, you're an actress, whether you design clothes, whether you make t-shirts, whether you work in a factory, why shouldn't we be paid our worth? And why are we, black people, putting limitations on the dreams of other black people? Why are we doing that to each other? Sit down with yourself and examine how you really feel about blackness and being black, black people, and the black community. That's all I have for today. If you would like to contribute to the platform, I will leave my Cash App and Venmo down in the comments. Do something righteous today. Do something that benefits other black people today. Do something that benefits your black community today. Learn how to want to see your people win today.